It's a pleasure to talk to you. This interview is for El Lado, Oscuro for Uruguay. Yeah.
Right.
And just between words, we were the promoters of your first show in Uruguay, Cavalera Conspiracy, in 2015. That was your first time in Uruguay after so many years. So we were the promoters of that show. And we were also the promoters of your last show when you did the Beneath Remains Arise tour in Uruguay as well.
Awesome. I can't wait to come back, hopefully next year.
Yeah, hopefully things go better, of course. But I don't know to which band you can go. Soulfly, Cavalera Conspiracy, Go Ahead and Die. Man, you have lots of bands at the same time.
Yeah, it's... I'm starting a collection of bands.
Yes.
It's fun. It's good. It keeps me occupied, and I love all the projects. They're all different, a little bit different from each other. But I was really excited to do Go Ahead and Die because that's like an old dream of mine to do a whole record with my son. And where we are sharing the riffs, the ideas, the artwork. And it was just I even say I don't care if nobody likes this record. I'm already proud, happy, proud father that I got to do this with my son. And the bonus is that people like the record, so that was good.
That is the extra.
Yeah, that's extra. That's like the game is already won, but. The other stuff is extra, but I love the record. I love the vibe of the record, man. The old school 1987 even smells like 87 when you smell the record.
Indeed, the sound, the raw sound, the old school, as you say, and also it's like perhaps reconnecting with the young Max.
Totally reconnecting with the sharing with my son the influences that I was listening in 87, which is Discharge, Celtic Frost, Bathory, and Napalm Death, and putting all these influences on a record right now after all these years have passed. We've been through every different formation. We have we had the tribal roots era, a lot of the new metal era, we had the industrial nail bomb era. In fact, I think this is the closest thing to nail bomb that I ever done since nail bomb, because because how pissed off and angry and energetic this record is. It reminds me of the fire that first nail bomb record had. This is the closest thing I've done to that. But it is connecting with a young Max, and my son Igor. He physically looks like me when I was 20, 21. Skinny with a little mustache, little beard, long hair. But it was just a joy working with him. He's turning out to be a great kid. I couldn't ask for a better, very, very. He's like an old soul, man. He doesn't act his age. He's really wise, and really talking to him is like talking to an old soul. And I try not to treat him too much like my son, but it was more like two musicians making something exciting together, So this record to me was, in many, many ways, was most fun I had in a long time, making this, especially this aggressive music that it's rooted in my heart. I always loved the extreme side of metal, and be able to do it in this way with your son and Zach and Arthur and Charles, all the people involved in this project were very passionate about the metal, and it shows on the. We had great stuff like Jeff from Carcass making the logo for us, which was, we didn't ask for it. It just happened.
Just happened.
And it gives the stamp, official Jeff Walker approval stamp. You know?
Yeah, total honor, I guess.
It's a total honor, man. It's great. And the best part is that we didn't ask for it. He just did it on his own. And that's just amazing. I love when metal musicians do stuff like that. You're not expecting that just happened.
Just from the heart, because they just want to do it. Yes.
Yeah, it's totally from the heart. And, you know, I met Jeff a couple of times. I've seen Carcass, big fan, of course. But when he did that, came out of nowhere, I was so happy, so proud. And it's cool. I love the videos. You know, we got more videos from Go Ahead and Die than I ever got from Nuclear Blast. So Soulfly only got one on Ritual. You know, the Go Ahead and Die, we got four. Yeah, and the last one was great. We had Ice-T doing the voice of the reporter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you kind of reach out to some of the friends to help you out with make it more fun, more exciting. But I love all the video. I love all the Go Ahead and Die. I think the first one was crazy. Yeah. Truckload full of bodies on the morgue, in the body bags.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy. That was like making a little horror movie.
How do you come with that idea of the truck full of bodies?
I was reading a magazine, you know, and it was an article about Italy. And when pandemic started, Italy got hit real hard.
Yeah,
and
one of the worst. Yeah,
one of the worst. Yeah, and they were having to put the bodies in trucks, and the truck will go to, you know, to a landfill, and then they put the bodies in. So it was just a really, really hardcore story. And I thought, I just took the name straight out of the magazine. It was Truckload Full of Bodies. It's like, I'm using this name the way it is for the song, you know. So it's very unapologetic, direct way to kind of it's a narration of the times we are living in with the pandemic. You know, I try to make the most, I guess, direct, realistic song about the pandemic, how we felt during the pandemic, which is isolation, and the reality of how hard this hate, and many families lost loved ones. And then it gave us the idea to visually do something, you know, kind of, it's not it's kind of brutal, but in a meta way, with the body bags. And I actually wanted the record to come in a body bag. That was my original idea, but Nuclear Blast didn't go for. They say maybe that we do one next year, maybe a commemoration, 1 year commemoration special edition. But I thought it would be cool, like a black zipper with a zipper that you open the body bag and the album.
Yeah, that is a cool idea.
That was great. I thought it was great, you know, but we couldn't do it. But we made the video. I like all the videos. I like the cartoon ones was true, the animation, and then you know, the last one we had the lyric video for Roadkill, which is one of my favorite songs on the record. And then the last one was Go Ahead and Die, the title. We had the idea to have Ice-T being the reporter. We were hoping that you get him video, you know. Mm-hmm. But he said he told me he don't look like a reporter. But yeah, I didn't want to argue with Ice-T. You know, I'm not gonna force you. So he said, I will lend you the voice. You know, I'll lend you my voice. I said, it's okay. So your voice is great. You know, everybody knows Ice-T's voice. So we used that, and I couldn't be happier with the record, man. It made a big splash. It was really it got into a lot of cool stuff like Spotify and, you know, all these places where metal is play, and, you know, liquid metal. But like I say, I was happy just to do the record, even if nobody liked the record. It was just a dream of mine to do an album with my son that connect both of us with, and it connects with my past. Yeah, which is the most amazing thing is this whole journey I've been through. The Go Ahead and Die record goes right back to the beginning, which is, 85, 86. The stuff I was listening to when I made Morbid Visions, actually, is the stuff that influenced the Go Ahead and Die.
This record.
It's the same. Discharge, Extreme Noise Terror, GBH, Celtic Frost, Battery, Hellhammer. It's all this great, aggressive, raw stuff that came in. It was a special moment in metal. I think that it's never been like that again. It was a special moment.
Indeed.
The whole era of 80, 84, 85, 86, it was a special time in metal, And I think we made some cool record. Morbid Visions is an extremely important record for underground extreme metal.
Yes, of course.
It's a very unique record. I really like because you can feel the innocence. We are in the music innocence. You don't know what you're doing, but you're doing anyway. It's like jumping blind into the lake. But in a way that's really cool because I read the quote one time, said fate is like when you take a step but you don't see the stairs, but you take a step anyway. And I think this is really cool like that. It's like the innocence of young kids just making metal because we don't know nothing about merchandise and record label and the commercial side of. There's none of that. It's just love of metal,
Just for the sake of love of metal,
yeah. And I think Go Ahead and Die goes right back to that time. The record itself had no pressure. Like nobody knew we were making the record. The label didn't know. We were in a remote cabin in the desert. I told my son, let's go to the desert because the desert is where you find the heavy riffs. So we went to the desert in search for riffs.
And nobody knew, so the record label didn't know about that you were working on a new album, a new band?
Well, it started without the label, the Blast was not involved in the beginning. It was just me and my son with the same drum machine that I had from Chaos AD, Nail Bomb, all the same equipment. I have a lot of old equipment and I still use it. It's amazing that it's not broken through, 25 to 30 years, And
the spirit was there, huh? The spirit was there.
The spirit was there, and I think the situation also, because we are in this isolated desert home with only wild animals around and cactus and mountains, and it's a bit like Evil Dead, like the movie Evil Dead, like the cabin, the cabin.
The cabin.
So not even the Wi-Fi really worked really good there, So we were not really counting on even Wi-Fi, but it was really a lot of real hot jams because it was summer. So it was 40 degrees. So we were jamming, get sweaty and angry because it's hot. It was like, fuck, And then at nighttime we watch black and white movies. My son has a big collection of classic Universal monster movies, Creature of the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, Dracula. So we watch a lot of those at night. So it made for like a big, nice ritual. We had this constant ritual going on. So that was a lot of fun making the whole creation of the whole project.
So was this album meant to be, or it just happened because of the COVID situation and that you were locked down?
No, I think it was going to happen regardless, because like I said, it was a dream of mine to do this record especially with Igor, because we have a lot of the same taste in music. We like a lot of the extreme stuff, he's always asking me about all these bands I listen to from the 80s, Dark Angel, Possessed, and all this great stuff. And then he showed me a lot of cool new stuff like Conan and UFO Mammoth, more kind of like doomer, more doom kind of stoner metal, and some aggressive stuff like Noisem and Full of Hell. even Gate Creeper, which is from here, from Arizona.
Yeah.
So my connection with Igor is really on this extreme metal side that I don't have with any other of my kids. Only with him I have this very extreme, passionate metal connection. So we put that to work. So I think this record would have happened, but the time was perfect because there was nothing to do. We didn't have tours, we didn't have nothing. So
Yeah.
it was use the time the best way. And the thing I said, because of the label not knowing, it's kind of true in a way, because Gloria got us the deal with Nuclear Blast, and we were making the record for them, but they really didn't know where we were or how we were doing. We were just making this record in a cab, in the Evil Dead cabin.
The Evil Dead.
And it's it was cool because there's no pressure. Like when you're doing a record like that, there's no pressure. Like nobody watching you,
Yeah.
or telling you, oh, you shouldn't be doing this or you should be doing that. You're just there in free will to do whatever
You have
you want.
total freedom just to create what you want.
Exactly. And this is really what we, especially the influences. I think you hear a lot of old school influences in the bass,
Yeah.
real discharge kind of bass, with distortion with the bass, and then of course a lot of the death metal riff influences in a lot of the stuff. Yeah, it was great. It was to me it was just a fun record to make. That hopefully is fun for people to listen to, because that's the enjoyment that I got from this record. Although the political lyrics are heavier for the moment, musically this is a really fun record to listen to. I listened to many times from front to back, and I feel it's very fun. You put it on and it makes you feel good, makes you want to go out and kick ass.
Indeed. But I think that this album is a really good surprise for all the fans, and not only for listening to the Max again with the old school roots and angry again, but also the surprise of your son, because the work of your son is really impressive in the album, with the voice, with the guitar, with the bass.
Yeah, I think,
really impressive.
Thank you. And I think that I really let him feel the responsibilities. I just really give it to him, like, okay, you're gonna do all the bass. I'm not touching the bass. You're doing all the bass, and we're doing all the riffs together. And then we did all the ideas, artwork, all this stuff together. It's cool because it's a little bit teaching him about music, but also a little bit of passing the torch, to like.
Yeah.
I've done my work, like I've been doing this for a long time. Now your turn.
It's your turn.
Now you can do a little bit of this, and I can enjoy life a little bit. Although I don't intend on stopping, I cannot. I'll get in trouble if I get if I'm not playing music. I get arrested. It's bad for me, so it's good to stay in music, to stay connected to the music. So I'm not stopping, but it feels good to share all the knowledge with somebody like your son. So you give them all the secrets. It was cool. A lot of cool stuff in the studio. I was teaching him about it, and the guitar sound. I think my guitar sound I was really happy because it's really kind of like Tom Warrior, I really got real close to the Celtic Frost guitar sound. And Igor's guitar sound is more like a buzzsaw, more like an entombed heavy metal two-pedal guitar sound. And we were doing all that, learning all that in the studio, and the way we recorded the record too was interesting. We made it exactly like if it was 1987. which is like no click tracks, you actually play the riff, no Pro Tools. Like a lot of times in Pro Tools, you can just do the riff once and record it, and you don't have to play it again. The computer plays for you, and I don't like that. I like
natural, exactly.
the human side of it. And that's why, like, when we play live, it's gonna sound just like the record because we play everything on it. You know, there's no gimmicks. You know, it's what you hear is what you get. You know, it's like the real thing. You know, and it's based on the record that we love from the era, Morbid Tales. You know, the Battery. These records were made without Pro Tools. They were made without click tracks, and they made great records without all the technical advantages that we have now. So I try to do the same, you know. So it's kind of like, it's like a studio has a lot of great technical things, but we refuse all of it. We don't want any. We want it to sound dirty, you know. So it's making a record with all imperfections. I think that's the right way to say it. And I think that's sometimes more hard than making a super high
polished and exactly.
Polished hi-fi sound record. It may be easier. When you try to do imperfect, it's more difficult because
it is you and your instrument.
And there's a fine line between raw and dirty and shit and shitty. You don't want shitty. You want it to still be. It's still got to be good, but you don't want polish either. So you want still to be fucked up sounding, dirty sounding. So it was a big adventure, you know, big challenge. But I think we had fun with it. We had good people around involved with it, and to me it was a pleasure to make this record. And I love to make a second one. I think it's going to be even more fun to make a second one, and of course to bring it on tour, you know, hopefully Uruguay, you know.
Okay, so we will talk with Gloria for Uruguay then.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready. I am ready.
Me too. So going back to the album, the sound is not only the one thing that it is anger, but also the lyrics. It's like, again, the old Max is coming again, because if I read, for example, Prophet's Pray, perhaps I can remember Amen from the Chaos AD. Is it about those religious things, right?
Yeah, it's really critical of special cult leaders, you know.
Yeah.
And how dangerous they are, and how bad situations get, like Waco.
Exactly.
With Dave Koresh, or Jim Jones in Guyana, you know.
And Amen was for that, right? The lyric of Amen was for Waco, David Koresh?
No, not directly. No, Amen was more. It was about religion, power of religion, but I think I believe it wasn't directly at Waco. Maybe, I don't know. That it's hard to remember, like that. The era of my life is in black and white. It's in sepia.
But Prophet's Pray is about these religion leaders and all this.
Yeah. This is direct. I watch many documentaries about it, and even the newer ones like the Nexium. You've seen this guy, Nexium guy. It's like a sex cult. They brand all the women in their. It's fucking crazy shit. So it's about all these prey. You know, they're predators. You know, they prey on people. They prey on the weakness of people to need something to believe in, and then they use that, and they use fear, and they use all these manipulations to make people do what they want them to do. You know, so it's you're right. That could be. That's almost like a song like Amen for sure. You know, and then you have some more direct lyrics. I think I like a lot of El Cuco. El Cuco.
I was going to ask you about that. How did it come?
Yeah. You know, because we were watching this Stephen King series called The Outsiders, and he made a series about El Cuco. You know, And of course, in Brazil, we remember cuca, you know, a cuca. Um, it was like this lady that kidnapped kids, you know, put the kids in the bag. When
Yeah.
you misbehave, you put the kid in the bag, and we
Yeah.
try to make a connection between that and a little bit some kind of sex predator, you know, that uh, try to get young girls and your young boys, and you snatch them, you know. So he's like the El Cuco of the new millennium of right now,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah. The
It's
new
based
Coco.
on it's based on a folklore, but with a twist of this.
These times.
Yeah, and then you hear a lot about this lately, you know, on TV a lot. You know, there's all these guys getting busted for this kind of stuff, and so we kind of put a black humor twist on it, calling the song El Cuco,
Cool.
and we had Igor's wife, Aggie. She's from Argentina, so
Ah, okay. So she
made
did the speech in Spanish.
in Spanish. Yeah, she let's do a little bit of the nursery rhyme in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
end
yeah.
of the song. Yeah, it was cool. Um, One of my favorite tracks was um, Roadkill, because I thought Roadkill was cool because it was the idea of homeless people, you know. And a lot of times, of course, in Brazil, we always grow up with kids in the street sniffing
Yeah.
glue, and and here in America is even more, um, goes deeper with veterans. People come from war, Vietnam War
Yeah.
or Iraqi War, and they come back and they become homeless, you know,
Yeah.
and they live on the street and nobody care for them, you know. So um, we made a comparison that these people are like roadkill. They are just left on the street, you know. Um, and I think it was definitely it was an original topic to talk about it. Not many bands talk about
No.
homeless situations, so there was a chance to do something quite original and different. Uh, and yeah, you know, the whole record. I'm not a big fan of lyrics myself. I don't like writing lyrics. It's kind of like homework, you know. It's like tedious, you know. Like, oh god, I gotta write this lyric, you know. I prefer guitar riffs. That's my main thing is riffs, and that's why I do max tracks, you know. And I love making riffs. I can make riffs all day long, no problem. But my son Igor was really into the lyrical side of it because he writes books like Stephen King's kind of books.
Mhm.
So he was very, he was very into the whole lyrical part of the project. So he wrote most of the lyrics. I just kind of helped
Yeah.
whenever I could find something cool to sing or say a word that would sound cool. I'll put my feelings on it, but a lot of it was came from Igor. Even like a lot of the name of the tracks, like I love the one "Worth Less Than Piss." uh, I think the first translation is "Vale menos do que mijo," né? Vale menos do que mijo. So worth less than piss. It's like kind of like how the government make us feel, you know. We are not worth nothing. We are worth like piss, you know. And I like some of the other titles he came up with. Punisher, I thought that was really good.
Mhm.
That's about school shootings and stuff like that, you know. And then of course there's Toxic Freedom was another good one. It was about
Yeah.
police
Police
brutality.
abuse. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of you know topics about right now. It's kind of like I think it's, like I said, this is kind of like the nail bomb of this generation.
Yeah.
You know, nail bomb was the 90s. This is this generation's nail bomb kind of album.
But sometimes the problem remains to be the same. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, we shine a light on it, you know, to hopefully evoke a response or some kind of change, you know. But I think metal is good for that always, you know, especially early metal was more Wizards and Dragons, you know, Black Sabbath, but there was a shift when Motorhead came into and then you have the thrash, and then they are borrowed from hardcore. So there's the reality of the lyrics had a change in the way, and you know you start having more political lyrics. You know, that's why we have stuff like, to us was really important. It's like Inner Self, Mass Hypnosis, and then later Arise and Dead Embryonic Cells, and then really hit hard on Refuse to Resist territory.
Yeah.
That's really political, really like
exactly.
questioning government, authority, religion. And I think that's good. I think that's one thing that metal can do that's really good, is question all these authorities. And because in the end of the day, it's about being free, you know, you're free yourself, you know. So I think the Go Ahead and Die record is really about human rights. In the end of the day, everything we are talking about on the record are all things that we think human rights deserve, the right to be a human, you know, not to be treated like subhuman. That's perfectly in the song Ice Cage, which is about the kids in cages in the border. You know, that's like anybody that's it's okay with that. It's fucked up, you know. That's a fucked up mentality. Anybody that thinks it's okay to put kids in cages and separate them from their parents, you know, that's an atrocity that should not happen. This is 2021. This is not, you know, Auschwitz 1944, you know. So it's just really about human rights. The whole record has a feel about that, and I love the combination of the lyrics of Right Now with the sound of 87.
Yeah.
To me, that's the coolest thing we could have done. You know, I could even go even for. I mean, maybe I'll save that for the next Go Ahead and Die to be even more raw than this. To go back to really extreme, like Bestial Devastation kind of sound. You know, go back to that really raw sound. Hopefully, we save it for the next one.
Yeah, because in this album you have the mix like songs like Isolated, Desolated, or Go Ahead and Die, but also with the opening track, and so you have a mix of all these influences. As you say.
I'd like to maybe the next one be even more raw and go deeper in a extreme side of it. You know, almost like like I said, like that era of music. Make it even less complicated and more Hellhammer, actually, like really caveman, more
caveman.
Go in the cave, record in the cave.
So next time, don't go to the desert, go to the cave.
Go to the cave, yeah.
How do you feel when you see your son Igor doing interviews about this new album? So like he's also taking the lead in that sense.
Yeah, I feel so proud. So it's really cool. It's amazing, and he's really good. He's like an old soul. Like he's really intelligent and has great answers. You know, and kind of like it's good. It's, you know, the thing about this music that we created, that started. It never came with a instruction manual how to do it. We learn it with life, you know.
Yeah.
We learn it by going on the road, and a lot of trial and error. You know, you do something, it doesn't work, you try again, and then it works. So I kind of want him to learn those things in the ropes too. You know, he's gonna have to learn. He's got a band, Hilly Magic. They are gonna go on tour in October now in America with Today's the Day. that's gonna be a great experience for him, you know, because he's gotta go in a van and
share time with other musicians.
You gotta work your ass off, man. You know, like I did, you know, to be. I'm still busting my ass right now. You know, after it's never easy, man. Especially for us musicians, like when pandemic hit, nobody took care of us. We were left alone.
We were alone,
to fight for ourselves. It's kind of fucked up, you know. I wish we had the help like countries like Sweden that help the musicians, man. You know, Norway, like they give money to the. I heard like the band Ghost got money from the government, and I was thinking, like,
what the hell?
What is this? This does not happen in the real world, you know. Brazil is not going to give me money, or America.
No, for sure.
We were left to fight for ourselves, but we figure out, we found ways to do stuff, you know. But like I said, like I'm gonna be 52, I think 52 or 53 next week. I don't know. I gotta check on that.
Well, happy birthday in advance.
Thank you. You're the first one. But it never gets. It never gets easier, but it's okay. The struggle is the glory, as they say. You know, the struggle is part of it. So I'm just happy I'm alive with health, and I got a tour starts August. I have a new Soulfly record working on right now, so that's coming out next year, and I'm gonna work again with my brother and Killer BQ. We're gonna do more stuff. Go Ahead and Die. So many projects, you know.
It's amazing. I don't know how you find time for everything, man. It's unbelievable.
It's good. It's you know, I take the time on the things too. I'm not hurrying anything. You know, we took our first vacation in a long time. We went to Florida last week and spent 10 days, you know, looking at alligators and doing a little bit of fishing and going to see all these beautiful Florida places. My son Igor lives in Florida, you know, so we went to visit his family. They live in Sarasota. It's a beautiful part of Florida. Apart from that, I continue doing Max tracks every Tuesday, Saturday, which is like playing guitar for the fans, showing all these riffs, man. And that's, to me, that's a lot of fun. It's free. It's on Facebook, you know. I really don't want to make money out of it. I think it's cool that it's free. There's something real nice about just doing something from the heart that's free, that you don't really need to make money. You know, we couldn't make one that you make money, but I just think this is nicer for the fans. It's a nice thing to do for the fans, and I enjoy doing it. I love playing guitar, so I sit down with them on Max tracks, and I get to, like, you know, give shout outs to bands that I like and wear t-shirts of bands that I like. That's cool too, you know. So
that is a very old school mentality, and I really love it.
Very old school mentality. This is like how it was in the 80s, you know. With you know, when I was wearing, you know, Death t-shirts and Morbid Angel t-shirts, we were trading letters with Chuck, you know. And now we do it through internet a little bit, you know. I get in touch with a lot of bands that I like, and they send me merchandise, and I talk about them on Max tracks, and it's nice. It's nice. It's good to know that the spirit, underground spirit, still alive in many. You know, because I think, you know, metal is like, it sometimes gets more mainstream, sometimes less mainstream, but you have somebody like me that you know, I'm in real popular bands, but I still love the underground enough to support. I think that's I find that should be cool. I think that's just a fun thing to do, and like you say, it's an underground mentality. It's an
old school mentality.
Mentality of doing things, you know. I like that.
Yeah, because it is, you are showing the support that perhaps you also had in the past, and like you said, you're just passing the torch. And
Yeah, and we got helped a lot along the way, and many bands helped. Sepultura, of course, Pantera, Ozzy, Slayer, with Soulfly, Slayer, Rammstein, and we did so many. Ozzy always put in so many great tours. We always have great relationship with Ozzy, and one of the most fantastic shows I was remembered the other day. It was a couple years ago. It was Hyde Park, and it was Soulfly, Fate No More, Soundgarden, Motorhead, and Black Sabbath. It's like, wow. And we were the young band of that. I'm 50 years old, and I'm the young guy. That was crazy. And
what do you feel when you, for example, you see bands like Slayer that they are not playing anymore, Black Sabbath not playing anymore? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, everybody's different. Every musician's different. Some musicians think that they've done enough and that they can just stop and retire. For me, it would not work like that. I love to stay busy, and I like this too much to stop doing it. I would not know what to do with my life without it. So yeah, but I understand too. I kind of like in the future probably gonna slow down a little bit. I like to take maybe 1 year off or one or 2 years and do nothing but travel, even for inspiration for the future works.
Max, it was a real pleasure to talk to you. It's really encouraging, and also I'm really happy to hear you speaking like this, with this energy, with this passion about this new album, because I loved this Go Ahead and Die album. When I listened to the album, it was like, wow, I was a big surprise to listen to this kind of music from you again. And I say, okay, this has not place in Cavalera Conspiracy. We cannot listen this in Soulfly. So this is Go Ahead and Die. And it was a big surprise for me to listen.
Thanks, man. I'll see you in Uruguay, brother.
I'll see you next year, hopefully.
Uruguay.
Of course. Take care, bro.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye-bye.